and he could have, but he's in 70 line for a guy. And Canucks are a bad team. Probably could get 50, 60 points. Only to Divvy 69, very nice. It's the gosh darn Sedins. Like 10 years ago. Evan wants it. He comes out with points every other game, and the occasional 3-4 point game he would post up, it was kind of okay. And last season, on a depleted Vancouver Canucks team, he still had 46 points in 53 games played. Now he's at 32 points in 31 games, with an extraordinary game log to boot. The guy has just gotten his groove back. And it's kind of funny because he's one of the guys that I think a lot of Canucks fans, whenever they see him in the offensive zone, sure, he does a really dangerous, risky play once in a while that causes a turnover, but when he does things properly, he's setting up Oborvet with cross-crease passes, tape to tape, and getting things off perfectly. When he's doing things right, he's getting one-timers and go to the net. He is like the Elias Pettersson replacement on that side on the power play. There's a reason why Petey's on power play 2 now, and Miller is still on power play 1 doing his thing. Hughes is going out there meeting this guy. They have just been such a joy to watch. The chemistry between these two American players is abnormal, and we're just kind of robbed about that when it comes to the Olympics, so very unfortunate to see. But still, when it comes to JT Miller and the way he's been playing, it's really tough to try to label just one particular trait makes him so good. It's the combination of his ability to protect the puck when he's coming in through defenders and trying to fight his way to the front of the goal. It's the combination of skills that he has when he has the puck in his stick. It's the very, very clear passion that he has for the game in mentoring guys that are underneath him and trying to make sure that everybody is the best that they can be. Talking to Elias Pettersson whenever he's taken one time, is telling him, okay, higher, gotta go lower, gotta go faster, gotta go stronger. Okay, there you go, that's a good one right there. We talk about how all the Canucks guys that do the media interviews, they're all saying the same thing about this guy. They've been saying the same thing about Miller the past few years, and he's very talkative. He's very loud, and he is not afraid to go out there and tell you what he thinks. This is the kind of personality that I really think forms well with a coach like Bruce Boudreau, and not to say that Miller wasn't producing under Travis Green, but there's just somewhat of a different step that has been unlocked, not just in Miller's game, but in everybody else's game around him. When JT Miller is playing his best, he's making everybody else get better opportunities too, and he's making some good plays out there. So this has been a very, very positive relationship for a lot of the players on the team involved, which is why, to me, if you keep a guy like Miller, your team is better with him than without him. Like, that is very clear at this point. The only reason you would trade Miller is because you want to build for the future and you want to salvage what would be the last parts of his contract because you're not sure if you would want to resign and this and that. So if you trade away Miller, you're probably going to get some very significant value coming back the other way. Probably more so than what the Canucks sent away in the initial trade to get Miller in the first place back in 2019. Because now that he's gotten that spotlight to play on a Canucks team that is this bad and he's still doing this well, there's a lot more of an incentive. So it depends on where Rutherford wants to go with this team. At the end of the day, you want more guys like Miller on the team, not less. But if you do end up trading this guy away, you're going to get yourself a haul. It really depends on the direction the Canucks decide to go down. But right now, I mean, what's there not to like about this? JT Miller's going out there doing his thing. Bo Horvat's going out there doing his thing. Bruce Boudreau's at the helm. He's controlling this team in a way that Travis Green has not been able to do since probably the 2020 bubble. So, talk to me in the comments what do you think about this entire conversation over here about JT Miller and the way he's played for the Canucks. He's an absolute monster, I tell you. Let me know in the comments on your thoughts. Should you trade him? Should you let him go? Should you keep him around? Try to re-sign him? Make him a Tyler Canuck? There are so many options to go down here, but I want to hear your opinions in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Charles and 99 and 5. Before we get too deep into this topic, I have to say this at the very beginning just so people don't get mad. This is one of those things that, in a vacuum, isolated away from the rest of the league and what happens afterwards, this is a pretty bad move. And that in particular is the angle I wanted to talk about here, because yes, I know Carolina Hurricanes fans, you guys aren't really too down on yourselves right now because Freddie Anderson is here and he has been absolutely phenomenal. We're going to be highlighting that towards the end of the video here, but when it comes to just the individual trade we're discussing, in a vacuum, you got to admit this was a pretty weird move. So it still continues to blow my mind day after day thinking about the Detroit Red Wings and the goaltending situation they have right now. You take a look at the Red Wings and what they had previously. They had themselves a tandem of Bernier and Greiss in 2020-2021, and to be fair, that tandem wasn't really all too bad. Jonathan Bernier posted up a .914 and a .299, and Thomas Greiss had even better numbers over there, as he had a .912 and a .270. So it was a pretty good tandem that this team was rolling with, even though the Red Wings were a pretty bad team. You know, all the problems that plagued the Red Wings over the past few seasons. Oh, they're too young. Oh, their top guys aren't producing. Oh, their defensemen can't move the puck. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing. One thing that was not a problem last year for Detroit was goaltending. And so, when you take a look at what Steve Yzerman did to drastically change the scope of this goaltending tandem into 2021-2022, it made a lot of people kind of perk their ears up and say, okay, what the hell? For context, Jonathan Bernier, who had been on the Wings since 1819, had been in the last year of his contract in 2020-2021. There wasn't really any certainty amongst the fans or the media or whatever that he would actually re-sign with Detroit, and so a lot of Red Wings fans were kind of thinking, okay, do we keep Bernier? Do we give the net full-time to Greiss because he was pretty good? Do we try to trade away a Bernier? Do we do this? Do we do that? Whatever, because like Bernier had been with this team for a while. There's somewhat of an emotional attachment there because he has been playing the past few seasons and he wasn't terrible on this team that was terrible in front of him. So now that he's in the last year of his deal, you don't really know if you're going to keep him around or if he's going to want to stick around or anything. So what are the Red Wings going to do? Because of this entire conundrum going on, when Steve Yzerman traded Jonathan Bernier, heck, not even Bernier, but the rights to signing Jonathan Bernier to the Carolina Hurricanes on July 22nd, it made things super intriguing when you take a look at what they received. Because the full trade went as follows. The Carolina Hurricanes acquired goaltender Jonathan Bernier, or the rights to Jonathan Bernier, as well as a third-round pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft from Detroit, in exchange for Alex Nedeljkovic. Now, Alex Nedeljkovic in his own right, he was making $737,000, but it's not the money that we really care about over here with Nedeljkovic, it's the body of work that he had. He was drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes all the way back in 2014 in the second round, and ever since then he has been developing as a Carolina Hurricanes prospect, seen as one of the better goaltending prospects in the league, and it took him a really long time to actually develop into an NHL caliber player, but once that time did come and he graduated from the Charlotte Checkers AHL team, boy oh boy, was Alex Nedeljkovic a stud. 2020-2021, his last year of his entry-level contract, was the first full-time year that he had in the NHL. And in 23 games played for Carolina, he posted up a 1.90 goals against and a 9.32 save percentage. 3 shutouts, 55-3, and in the playoffs, even though some would like to say that he could have been better, which I don't really think is an unfair assessment to make, he still put up a 9.20 and a 2.17 in the 9-game sample he had. Again, he could have been better, but he could have been a lot worse too, especially considering the fact that this was a full-time rookie goaltender. He was so good that he was a finalist for the Calder Trophy Award, which is awarded to the NHL's Rookie of the Year, behind Robertson and behind Kaprizov. But because he was an expiring asset, the Carolina Hurricanes fan base was kind of intrigued to see how Don Waddell would go about with these negotiations. There was a lot of rumors coming about when it comes to how Carolina would want to go out there and pay this guy, if they would be willing to go to a significant dollar amount, because he was really good. Don't get me wrong, he was definitely worth any amount of money the Carolina Hurricanes could have thrown at him. But the Hurricanes, instead of trying to go down that path and negotiate a contract with this guy, they were just like, okay, sorry, we'll sign Jonathan Bernier instead. We'll trade Nedeljkovic, who was a really top-of-the-line goaltender, who was only 25 years old, for a Jonathan Bernier, who was 33, who is just coming off of a stint where he's playing on one of the worst teams in the league. And we'll get that third-round pick as well. We'll sign Bernier to a cheap contract. That's what people were saying they might be thinking about doing. But guess what? They didn't do that. They took the third-round pick. Okay, great. They got themselves a guy in the draft. But guess what they did with that Jonathan Bernier? They didn't even sign him. They let him go to free agency. The Carolina Hurricanes, pretty much, if you take a look at the end result of where these assets went, traded away the best rookie goaltender in the NHL, who happened to be a very legit starter with really great numbers, for a third-round pick and a guy that they let walk. It was essentially just Nedeljkovic for a third. And you take a look at the way the Carolina Hurricanes did not want to go out there and spend the money. Nedeljkovic, heading over to Detroit, signed a 2-year contract with a $3 million AAV. That is not expensive whatsoever for the caliber of goaltending that Nedeljkovic provides. And the Carolina Hurricanes went out there and they're like, okay, yeah, we don't want to pay that. We'll spend that extra money on Freddie Anderson instead, who's come over here on a pretty big deal. He's making $4.5 million a season for the next year and a bit. And even though Anderson has been really good, and this is kind of why I'm saying that holistically, I don't really think Carolina Hurricanes fans are all too upset with what happened with their goaltending, considering, I mean, Anderson has a 9.30 and a 1.93 in 21 games played. He's been fantastic right here. He has won 16 out of the 21 games that he has started so far. Even though their goaltending is great, in a vacuum, the Detroit Red Wings went out there and absolutely fleeced the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, maybe there's some extra context behind it that I haven't uncovered in this video. Maybe there's some off-ice issues, or there's this and there's that made it undesirable for only a third-round pick. Maybe there's some other stuff going on behind the scenes that I haven't talked about. But you know what? Just the way Yzerman responded to this trade immediately after it went down, you can kind of just get the vibes off of that. Here's the quote. Red Wings GM Steve Yzerman acquired Alex Nedeljkovic from the Hurricanes. Why did Carolina let him go? You'll have to ask them why they were comfortable doing that. I don't know, Yzerman said. And this is kind of the reason why, whenever I think about hypothetical trades, or I try to assess where a team could be and what they could do, my mind always defaults to, okay, don't trade with the Red Wings. Don't have a conversation about Steve Yzerman, because if you go down and do that, you're just going to end up embarrassing yourself by the time a trade gets done. And Yzerman going out there and saying straight up, yeah, I don't know why they traded away this guy for Bernier and a third. You're going to have to go out there and ask them. Maybe Carolina was just playing some pretty big 3D chess, you know, rooftop checkers, underwater basket weaving. Maybe they were going out there and big braining this the entire way. Okay, if we give up on Alex Nedeljkovic and let this guy go to, I don't know, free agency because we don't tender his contract, then everybody's going to laugh at us because we didn't get anything back. Let's just get Bernier and a third. We can get that third because it'll be worth something at the very least. We'll let Bernier walk, and we'll use the extra savings to get Freddie Anderson and sign him to a contract that is only $1.5 million more than what the Wings gave Nedeljkovic in the first place. Maybe you could have done that route and just tried to say it was for the sake of being big brain, but I'm not really too sure if that's the capacity that Don Waddell would have been able to perceive, especially with all the factors involved. Like, you don't know for sure Freddie Anderson is going to sign with you, so just making that bet in the first place is a really big risk. And that argument doesn't even really fit because he could have had an RFA bidding war with an offer sheet for Nedeljkovic, right? This guy's an RFA, he would have been. So, man, it doesn't make sense. This is why I'm making this video. More and more, as I think about this trade, it continues to make less and less sense towards my psyche and my approach to evaluating these trades. I mean, Nedeljkovic this season is doing really well, too. He's got a 9.16 and a 2.78. Sure, he's on Detroit, but he's gone out there and actually done pretty well for a guy on this team. And that's just kind of why it's so weird, man. Talk to me in the comments what do you think about the Nedeljkovic trade and whether or not it still kind of makes you feel the same way that I'm feeling right now when trying to evaluate everything, because it's just such a strange trade in a vacuum. Again, Hurricanes fans, I know you don't really care anymore. You guys want to see the best out of Nedeljkovic, and you guys want to see the best out of Freddie Anderson too. But this trade in isolation, what a bad one. Talk to me in the comments, let your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. This was your iCharles999, and bye.
Long-lasting synthesis by sweater. Help you walk the couch.
If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, as I am, you have been spoiled. And I've been very vocal when it comes to talking about how Canucks fans have been spoiled the past few years, pretty much on this channel. Because when it comes to prospects and development, and when it comes to international tournaments and rookie showcases, we have had some pretty good guys come into the Canucks organization the past few years. It started off with Brock Besser being the best rookie in the NHL for a good chunk of 2017-2018 before getting injured and losing the Calder to Barzal. We then had Elias Pettersson in the same year just do fantastic wonders for Sweden, for Vancover in the Swedish league, as well as Team Sweden in various tournaments, and then he made the NHL and won the Calder. Later, the next season, it was Quinn Hughes' time to shine. He went out there, did his thing, he was fantastic at all the championship tournaments that he'd been in as well. So Canucks fans have been kind of spoiled when it comes to these guys, as well as Hoglander, as well as Podkolzin, seeing the development and the prosperity of their prospects in the past few years. But this year, it's kind of a little bit different, because when it comes to all the prospects in the team, hey, guess what? They're on the team already. Hoglander, Podkolzin, PD, Brock, Quinn, they're all on the team, and as a result, the Canucks prospect system it's really lacking right now. Like, I'm sorry, the way this team has gone out there and traded away draft picks, not really gotten many significant pieces through the draft in the past few years, and just went along with their seconds and thirds and tried to make the best out of them. I'm sorry, Vancouver, but this team's prospect cupboard is pretty bare, which is why having Jim Rutherford come in here and saying what he did about how he wants to go out there and acquire more draft picks and build through the draft, it's a very refreshing sign for fans who have been used to Jim Benning trading away picks like candy. This isn't even a new thing. I'm not talking about Toffoli and Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland. I'm talking about Eric Goodbranson. I'm talking about the Jared McCann trade all those years ago. I'm talking about just the sheer quantity of picks the Canucks have traded away, but that's a completely other video for another day. Long story short, the Canucks prospect cupboard sucks, and as a result, they only have one guy at the World Juniors this year. Let's talk about that prospect and take a look at what he did yesterday and go over just what exactly he is and what he is supposed to be. So today we're talking about Dimitri Zlaudia, playing for Chimik Voskresens in the VHL this year. He's 19 years old, born in February of 2002, 5'11", 183. He's a left-handed center, and he was drafted by the Vancouver Canucks in the 6th round of the 2020 NHL entry draft. Now, 6th-round picks aren't usually ever super significant, so when it comes to Dimitri Zlaudia, I won't blame you if you say you don't really know too much about this guy. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know too much either, so we're learning on the fly as we go. When the Vancouver Canucks drafted Zlaudia back in 2020, they had themselves a guy in the NHL, the Junior League, playing for Dynamo Moscow, get half a point a game with an A on his sweater. The season after that, he went back to the NHL, played with the same team, Dynamo Moscow, and had 12 points in 16 games this time, and even got an extended stint with Dynamo Krasnogorsk in the VHL, so the AHL of Russia. There, he had 7 goals in 19 games played, 0 assists. So you can really see the production line trail off more in that goal-scoring direction. But this year, Zlaudia has kind of been all over the place. You want to talk about Russian prospects for Vancouver that play so many games spread across so many different teams and so many different leagues? Yeah, Vasily Podkolzin kind of had this treatment a few years ago. Dimitri Zlaudia is sort of getting that now. He has played in the NHL, played for 2 teams in the VHL, played for a team in the KHL, and overall he has himself a pretty not too impressive record when it comes to points, but who really cares? He's not getting any time to really settle down anyway, so I'm willing to give him a pass. Just for the sake of looking over it, though, in the VHL for Dynamo St. Petersburg, which is the AHL in Russia, he had himself half a point a game, 2 points in 4 games. In the NHL, Dynamo Moscow once more, 7 points, 10 games, so his point per game number actually kind of dropped from last year. He played in the VHL Kimmich Strensek as well, 1 point in 5 games played, and even had 2 games played for Spartak Moscow in the KHL, where he had himself 0 points. Now this year, he has indeed made Team Russia at the World Juniors, and he has an A on his sweater. So even though he might not be one of these guys that is projected to going out there and scoring the lights out like a Matvei Mishkov is, or like a Marektus Nadinov is, for example, he still has yourself a leadership role that Dimitri Zlaudia has been assigned at the World Juniors. And yesterday, for Team Russia in their game against the Swiss, guess what? Dimitri Zlaudia played pretty well. He scored himself a goal where he actually wraps the puck around the net and tries to force things through. It takes a weird bounce, and eventually Zlaudia just whacks the puck on goal, and that's probably the best verb to describe this goal. He just whacks it towards the net, and it goes right by the goaltender. He was in and out quickly, and it didn't even really look like a goal at first, but then you saw them celebrating. It's like, oh, it's 2-0 now. Nice, Dimitri Zlaudia. He actually had himself a pretty good involvement in the rest of the game, too. I didn't watch the majority of this game because I was out shopping, because, yeah, I'm in the States right now, which is kind of why the audio sounds different, but, still, Zlaudia was going out there doing what Russians do at the World Juniors. They don't really usually have any players that stand out in a significant way, like a Matvei Mishkov, which is why he is such an anomaly. They play such a very unique kind of game that is so different from the way regular hockey is played outside of the international stage, where they really try to promote that team-based oriented style that was popularized in the 80s by guys like Igor Larionov and Fetisov and Tikhonov and all that. So, yeah, it's always been very interesting to see other Russians play the World Junior tournaments, but for Zlaudia, he was so good and so involved, he was actually given the Player of the Game award for Team Russia. Now, I know it's easy to go out there and dismiss awards like this because you just see these awards rotate from player to player to player every game. So you can debate whether or not there really is a big importance on this award, but at the end of the day, you would rather see this than not see this, right? Especially if you're a Canucks fan trying to cling to whatever hope there is left for this prospect cover at the moment, because with guys like Arvid Kosmar last year that went out there doing his thing for Team Sweden at the World Juniors, with guys like Dimitri Zlaudia this year going out there doing his thing, you really got to go out there and stretch the grid thin, and they're now on the team full-time. The Canucks had other prospects that might have been able to make the World Juniors, but they didn't. Yoni Yermo comes to mind. He was the top pick the Canucks had in, 2020, because their first and their second were both gone. Oh my goodness, Benning, man, come on. You have yourselves also Jacob Truscott, who I guess he had himself a shot for making Team USA as a guy out of Michigan, but he didn't make the team. So, yeah, it's only Dimitri Zlaudia for the Vancouver Canucks at the World Juniors right now, and he had himself a pretty good game, but at the end of the day, he still is just one of these six-round guys that was taken a while ago that a lot of people don't really know too much about. So, like you, I'm going to be going out there, watching the games, making sure that I'm doing my homework and doing my research on Zlaudia, seeing if he actually is the real deal, because we kind of need this for Canucks fans, right? I hope Jim Rutherford goes out there and gives the team more prospects and very high-caliber picks to be excited for, but for now, when it comes to the grandest international stage for prospects drafted into the NHL and soon to be drafted as well, can't forget about the Bedards and the Mishkovs and the Wrights, the Canucks only have one prospect at this tournament, and it kind of is indicative of how bare the prospect coverage are. So, talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Dimitri Zlaudia? If you actually know quite a bit about this guy, then please, let me know in the comments what are your thoughts, because I personally have not watched too many Dynamo St. Petersburg games in the VHL, or Dynamo Moscow games in the Russian Junior League, or even Spartak Moscow games in the regular KHL. So for Zlaudia, playing, 4 plus 10, 14, 16 plus 5, 21 games, spread across 4 different teams and 3 different leagues in Russia, not to mention the World Junior team as well, which is suiting up for now. It's been quite the wild ride for this prospect. Does he amount to anything? I'm not really too sure. Does he become a middle 6 guy, a top 6 guy, a franchise-altering talent? I'm not really too sure, but if you have any ideas, then please let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Zlaudia and his projection into the long-term future for the Vancover Canucks. I hope you enjoyed this with Josh Wilson 99, and bye. Yes, there you go, man. Shane Wright going out there and saying he would not mind the Montreal Canadiens as a draft destination. And obviously, I'm kind of joking. I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, but this video is going to go over one of the underage players for Team Canada at the World Juniors this season who has all the hype in the world behind his name. No, we're not talking about Bedard. We already discussed Bedard and Mishkov in another video. We might make more videos depending on how well they perform as the tournament goes on, but a player who we have not made a discussion about in a while is indeed the projected first overall pick for the 2022 NHL entry draft. Let's go over Shane Wright and talk about just where he has been the past few weeks, what he has done at the World Juniors so far, and the entire Wright Watch sweepstakes and how that's going on with the teams in the draft mix. So, going over the profile here for Shane Wright, everybody kind of knows who this guy is. You know this guy's name. You've heard the name. Remember the name. 100% reason to do that. So, he's 17 years old. January 5th is the birth date, so he's turning 18 in like a week. So, belated, or no, not belated, early happy birthday to Shane Wright over here. 6'1", 187, a right-handed guy playing for the Kingston Frontenacs in the OHL. He is the consensus first overall pick, ranked first overall by EP, Futures Iterations, Bob McKenzie, McKean's, Craig Button, Sportsnet, Recruit Scouting, Dogger, Draft Prospects, Hockey, Smart Scouting, and the Puck Authority. They all have him at number 1, so yeah, there isn't really anything else to say about that. Wright this season, in the limited sample size that he's played in Kingston and in the World Juniors, hasn't really had the season that a lot of people were expecting. Like, he is the first overall projected guy, and a lot of people definitely do acknowledge the talent that he does possess. But I would be lying if I said that this year Shane Wright has shown off why. You know, like, what about his game undisputably makes him the first overall guy? The fact is, even though he's producing pretty alright with 30 points in 22 games, when you watch Kingston this season, you take a look at some of the other guys that are doing well in this team. Obviously, Martin Chromiak is over there. A lot of Kingston fans are talking about him. You have Lucas Edmonds, you have Jordan Truscott, you have a whole bunch of guys over here. The thing with Wright is that even though he's producing well, there's a lot of people going out there watching these games and saying, yeah, we've seen better out of this guy. He's got another gear. He can be more than what he is so far. The fact that Shane Wright is still the projected first overall pick, even though he has been somewhat disappointing to some fans, kind of indicates just the level of talent that we are aware that he possesses. When Shane Wright is on top of the world, he is doing what he did at the U18s last season, where in 5 games played, he had 14 points, playing hockey for the first time in like a year, because the OHL did not suit up in 2020-2021. He was out there as an underage player, still dominating the tournament, scoring goals like crazy. He put his wrist shot on display in the limited amount of time he had. He didn't play all the games. You got to remember that. He was actually out for a little bit of the tournament. And he still went out there and proved to everybody why he was the projected first overall pick for a draft that wouldn't even take place for the next year when that tournament was going on. He's strong on his feet, he's really skilled, he's got a super deadly wrist shot, one of the better ones that we have seen in the NHL and the entry drafts the past few seasons. If everybody's going to go out there and start making comparables, the one that you're not going to see too seldom is that Austin Matthews comparable, because Matthews, obviously, his wrist shot, his goal scoring ability is so above and beyond everybody else. Shane Wright is kind of in that same sort of category too. Not going to go out there and say definitively Wright is the next Matthews, but if you want yourselves a stylistic comparison, look no further than number 34 himself. When it comes to Shane Wright and the way that he has produced at the World Junior so far, in 1 game played he has had 0 points, and that doesn't really matter. I don't really care about a 17-year-old going to a tournament for under 20-year-olds and not really producing all too much. It's only been 1 game, and the World Juniors are usually dominated by 19, 20-year-olds anyway, so this is fine. In fact, we're making this video not because of any of the production that he's had, but because of just the watch in general, the Wright watch that we're going to say here. Shane Wright was interviewed by the media earlier this week, and they asked him about the projected NHL draft and how he's supposed to be one of the top guys and how everybody is super, super excited to see if their favorite hockey team will land this player. They asked Shane Wright about the Montreal Canadiens because there was actually a Habs fan that had a Habs jersey with Shane Wright's number and Wright written on the back. And then that fan went up to Shane Wright and showed him the jersey. He smiled, and that moment was actually caught on camera. Somebody took a picture of that. And so they asked Shane Wright, yeah, what did you think about that? Were you okay with that? Would you be fine going to Montreal? And then he's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Obviously, it's an unbelievable city to play in, this and that, you know, it's all the cliche stuff that we hear. But if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan going out there looking for hope this season, hey, Shane Wright went out there and said he wouldn't mind playing for the Habs. And the Montreal Canadiens right now are not actually the first overall team when it comes to the NHL's points percentage race for Shane Wright. Let's talk about the bottom 5 teams in the league and just go over where they are, what a player like Wright could be in these organizations, and just how he could project into the long-term future. The worst team in the league in terms of points percentage right now is the Arizona Coyotes. 2.41 is their points percentage, or excuse me, .241. They have 14 points in 29 games played. They suck this year, dude. Although, to be fair, that's almost by design. The Arizona Coyotes have gone full rebuild this season, acquiring all of the bad contracts in the league in order to also receive draft picks. They're making these guys perform. They're giving these guys a stage and saying, hey, you know, Shane Gostisbehere, Phil Kessel, Jacob Chychrun, we got these guys. They're doing pretty well. You want them other NHL teams? Just give us a few draft picks and they can be yours. Arizona is ultimate tanking right now. They are tanking probably like in the only way possible, because I don't really think any of these other teams that are bad are intentionally being bad, like Montreal being here as the second worst team in the league right now, 274 points percentage, 17 points 31 games played. If you ask anybody in Montreal, hey, would you want to be second last next year? I don't really know too many Habs fans that would say, yeah, because we made it to the finals. I definitely want to be that bad next year. Arizona, it's like, okay, you could definitely tell this is what they were aiming for. So I think they're really like the only team that's actually tanking in this situation. But Montreal over here, yeah, their fans are so passionate that I'm not surprised that with them being so low in the standings, a fan went out there and made a custom Wright jersey and showed it off to the guy. The Black later in the week, we're probably going to make a video about him. But when it comes to Nick Suzuki, we know how good Nick Suzuki could be. It's just everybody else around him is not really performing to the same standard. Now, Suzuki hasn't been all hot this entire season either, to be fair, but he's been one of the better players this year. So having a guy like Shane Wright, who could be a two-way dominant goal-scoring threat alongside of Nick Suzuki, could make this Montreal team have one of the best 1-2 center punches in the league if both of these guys pan out to their primes. You have yourselves the third worst team in the league, Ottawa. They have 20 points in 28 games played. Just thinking about Wright and Tkachuk together makes me so giddy, because that would be such a difficult line to play against. So physical, so imposing on the opposition, and having a Tim Stützle or whoever as the other winger on that line as well could really round out that goal-scoring edge too. Having the lethality of a Stützle and a Wright playing on the same line and the same power play unit could make things really special over there in Ottawa. Now, for Seattle, this is a really interesting team, too. They have 23 points, 30 games played. They're fourth last in the league. Their best prospect right now, Matty Beniers, he's a guy I really like. He's a two-way monster. Hey, baby, I want to know if you'll be my girl. That's enough flirting for me today. I don't really do this all too well. Let's talk about Team Canada, because my goodness, Owen Power, dude. His name kind of encompasses everything that we have come to expect out of his game. The name is the game right here. Yes, Triple H, the man himself. Let's talk about Owen Power and everything that we saw yesterday for Team Canada against Czechia, as well as use this as an opportunity to just go over Owen Power as a prospect in general. Because Owen Power, as the first overall drafted prospect out of the 2021 NHL entry draft, did something that no other first overall pick has done since Eric Johnson in, what was it, 06? And that was not go to the NHL. Owen Power is still a prospect and not a rookie because this year, after being drafted, he did not play with the Buffalo Sabres on a D-core that boasted the likes of Rasmus Dahlin, another first overall pick, and a forward core that had Jack Eichel waiting for a surgery who was a second overall pick. Power was like, nah. Even before the draft, Power was like, okay, I'm probably going to go back to the NCAA because I feel like I'm not ready. And to his credit, this was a great decision. It was one that I personally was on board with even before he came up with this statement and said that this was probably the route that he was going down. I was kind of like, yeah, I think that Owen Power could use another year in Michigan because even though he has all these skills, all these very big and defining attributes to his game, you can't really find another defenseman. It's just so unpolished and raw with Power that another year toning everything and just refining everything could be very beneficial to this player before he goes out there and plays significant ice time on an NHL team, especially one that is projected being as bad as Buffalo is going to be. And so, going back over to the NCAA, this was the right move in my opinion. And it was one that we started to see some very, very early bearings of fruit from. Last season for Owen Power's freshman year with the Michigan Wolverines, he had himself 16 points in 26 games played. He also had 3 points in 10 games for Team Canada at the World Championships. Now, this is the regular men's World Championships, not the ones like the World Juniors or the U18s or whatever that didn't really register for Owen Power. He didn't play in those, but for the regular Canadian squad against other men with NHL athletes on a pairing with Troy Stecher, Power went out there as an 18-year-old, he looked like he belonged, and he won a gold medal. He's looking to becoming the next in line after, I believe it was Patrice Bergeron, to win a World Junior medal after winning a World Championship medal. If he does that, then he'll be in the same category as Bergie, so very nice for him. We, of course, have to see if they go out there and win gold, Team Canada that is, in order for Power to achieve that. But this season, look at Michigan and just see what Owen Power has done, dude. In 18 games played, so 8 fewer than last year, he has 23 points. So he's gone out there as an over point per game defenseman, over an assist a game defenseman. And now, in the first game for the World Juniors against Team Czechia, after the team is 3-1 to kick off the game, Owen Power scores a hat trick in the span of about 20 minutes. We already talked about this game a little bit in the Red Wings recap, so going over Simon Edvinsson, Pierre Nierbach, these two guys from Sweden on the Red Wings as well as Donovan Zabrano on the Red Wings as well, who was playing for Team Canada. But this game was kind of wild. It was 3-1 at one point in the first period. Stanislav Svozil gets himself what is probably the goal in the tournament so far, and it takes him 12 minutes from the start of the game to do that and put the team up 3-1 in the process. However, give it 23 seconds after Svozil's beautiful goal, and Team Canada is starting to lay pressure down on Team Czechia. It bounces out in front, there's a big scramble on the puck, it gets thrown out to the half boards where Owen Power picks it back up. And Power picks the puck back up, he sees a big scramble in front, he holds it, he looks, he waits, he takes, he scores, and it bounces in. The goaltender is really not in place. It's a very bad goal from a hockey standpoint, just taking a look at what happened. This is definitely bad defense, bad clearing attempt, very greasy goal in front, but hey, Owen Power's gone out there and brought the Canadians within one, so very good for him, and a goal we would like to have. Give it a little bit more time, and eventually it's Donovan Zabrano, Red Wings prospect, really discussed him in the previous video, or 2 videos ago, I should say. He gets himself the game-tying goal at the end of the first period with 29 seconds to go, so it's 3-3. And then the second period comes along where Owen Power goes out there and he just does his thing. Now, I'm not going to talk about this in great detail, but if you want to go out there and give me your opinions, then hey, the comment section is your floor. But Team Czechia had some penalty trouble in this second period, and it eventually led to an extended amount of 5-on-3s for Team Canada, and this is kind of where Owen Power just showed up and he was like, okay, thank you very much, I'm going to take my goals now. The first goal scored in the second period on the power play by Owen Power. It is a one-time opportunity. He is on the far right side, he kind of edges his way over there after swapping with the man on top. I believe it was Cole Perfetti. But Perfetti just throws one over to the side. Owen Power grips it, rips it, and scores. It goes right through the goaltender over here, and it is 4-3 Team Canada with about halfway in the game to go. Then you give it a few more minutes because this is an extended 5-on-3, and the Canadians maintain the same kind of cycling. Owen Power's up at the top, he moves over to the side once in a while, switches spots with Johnson and Perfetti. Eventually it's Cole Perfetti who takes a shot towards the goal, It gets deflected by Mason McTavish, it's saved by the goaltender, and then the rebound pops out in front, and it's Owen Power right there at the doorstep because for some reason he's gone out there and planted himself at the side of the net as a defenseman, and he scores another goal. 5-3 Canada is the score at this point. Owen Power gets a hat trick, and this is a tweet I want to go out there and read. The last defenseman to score a hat trick for Team Canada at the World Juniors, that would be way back in never. History for Owen Power in Edmonton. He is the very first Canadian defenseman to score a hat trick at the World Juniors, and that stat blows my freaking mind. How has there never been a Canadian defenseman getting a hat trick at the Worlds? Okay, World Juniors, not Worlds. Worlds implies the World Championships. Owen Power's the first one to do that? Are you kidding me? Not like Morgan Riley or Tyson Barrie or anybody else who's gone out there and scored a whole bunch of goals? Really crazy to me to see that that's the statistic over there. But I mean, having Owen Power as the first ever Canadian guy to do that is a pretty good accolade in itself. And now you take a look at where Owen Power's season has gone. Hey, he's gone out there and really made himself a resume with all the production he has had in the NCAA, with the hat trick to kick off the World Juniors right here. He has more points in this World Junior tournament than he did in the entire World Championships last year in 10 games in one game. And it's not even just the straight-up point production that has been impressive for Power either. I want to retell this a little bit because it kind of hammers the point down pretty well. Sure, scouting outlets last year had Owen Power as the unanimous first overall pick. But if you went over to the social medias and you took a look at all of the scouts who work for other outlets that don't really have their own say represented on elite prospects and their draft rankings profiles, there were a lot of scouts, a lot of people in the scouting community whose opinions I value tremendously, who all had Owen Power not as the first overall guy, but as a guy in the 5, 6, 7 range. Now, mock drafts are different than draft rankings. One's own opinion on a player influences the draft ranking. The mock draft is, on the other hand, an assessment where you say, okay, first overall Buffalo, they're likely going to take this player. Second overall, X team, they're going to take Y player. Your own personal draft rankings are kind of different, and a lot of people's draft rankings in the scouting world had Power outside the top 1 spot. This was because even though he has such a good tool set, he's got so many skills. When he's at his best, he's a big booming shot, he's physical, he skates north-south like a bull, and he's so hard to knock off the puck in the offensive zone. He can just go around and circle over guys. It's crazy what Owen Power can do when he is at his best. But there were so many inconsistencies with his play in the defensive zone, on the rush itself, and just when he had the puck outside of the offensive zone, that made it difficult for scouts everywhere to agree that he would be first overall worthy in the same way they did when McDavid was eligible, or when Matthews was eligible, or when Hughes and Dahlin were eligible too. Anyway, he has gone out there this season and really changed a lot of what we had concerns with last year. He is becoming a lot more efficient in his own zone now. He is starting to skate more and be more consistent holding on to the puck now. We saw at the World Championships, he was really not bad, and it's kind of why it cemented his status as a first overall projected player when he was pairing up with Troy Stecher winning gold medals for Team Canada during the international scene. And so, for Owen Power to do as well as he has done with the Michigan Wolverines this season, after saying to the media, after saying to everybody, yeah, I need to go back, I need to do my thing, I need to work on my game a little bit more before I'm ready to sign an NHL contract. Now it's gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, the Buffalo Sabres, look at what they've done to big guys in the past, like Ristolainen and Tyler Myers, of course. Rasmus Dahlin, we had concerns about him earlier on in his career. But if they had Owen Power, the raw version of Owen Power from last season on their team now, I doubt he goes out there and develops in the way that he has, because development is so sacred, especially for guys that are drafted to the top of their selections. And for Owen Power, I mean, breaking the mold of what is it, like 15 years straight of first overall picks going to the NHL right away, that takes guts, man. And from the way that we are seeing things unfold right now, it looks like it was the right decision by far. So talk to me in the comments if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, or a Team Canada fan in general, or a Michigan Wolverines fan. What are your thoughts on Owen Power? What are you doing this season? Are you more excited for him today than you were a year ago? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you enjoyed it.
Ash got cheated on in the Sinnoh Pokemon League. I mean, this guy was using a freaking Darkrai and Latios. Of course he went on to become the Sinnoh League champion. That's why today I'm gonna get revenge for Ash and see if I can beat a hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond using only Pokemon Ash has used. Hardcore Nuzlocke rules will be on the left and I'll explain the encounters as we go. At the very beginning of the game, I already have a tough decision to make. Since Ash used both a Turtwig and Chimchar, I can choose either of them, but I can only end up using one. Infernape is by far the better Nuzlocke Pokemon, but do I really want half of this playthrough to be the monkey show? Nah, that's why I went with Turtwig to make things more interesting. I named Turtwig after Brock. On Route 201, I already get to catch my next encounter being a Starly. I named her Cynthia because Staraptor is an S-tier Pokemon. Now come on, do I really need to go to trainer school? Actually, I have been feeling kind of dumber since playing as Ash. Oh, finally some breakfast. That's not right. And of course, I needed to name my rival after Gary. This Gary is nothing like the anime though, and gets swept by wing attacks from Cynthia. Along the way to Orbor City, Cynthia evolves into Staravia. And with that evolution comes an awesome new ability, Intimidate, which is perfect for our match versus Roar, weakening Geodude's attack. This allows Brock to switch in safely and set up a growth while Geodude uses Rollout. I didn't need the extra power to take out Geodude or Onix with Razor Leaves, but it was more needed to ensure the one-hit KO against Cranidos, winning us the first gym badge. This girl is totally getting me a sign that she's now available, but since I'm playing as Ash, it flies right over my head and I move on. Then I head over to Valley Windworks to find and catch a Weasel, to which I name James. As I break into where Team Galactic is hiding, one of the grunts stops me and is like, "Yo, have you played this awesome space game?" From this video sponsor, Star Trek Fleet Command. You heard that right, I have an actual Star Trek sponsor, which is really cool because it's a franchise I've known my entire life. It's a free-to-play mobile, open-world, strategic MMO available on iOS and Android. Like the Pokemon games, you can really experience the nostalgia this game has to offer. For example, you can unlock iconic characters like Chris Pine's Kurt, Zachary Quinto's Spock, and Patrick Stewart's Picard. Just make sure to reach level 5 by February 10th, 2022 to unlock the character Michael Burnham. If you get to level 10 by February 10th, you'll upgrade the officer to rank 2. Have fun deploying teams on missions, experiencing a story within the multiverse, creating alliances, choosing a faction whether you want to be a hero or a villain, crafting the perfect ship, or just using the Enterprise, build bases, and much more. Remember, Star Trek Fleet Command is free to play on iOS and Android, so don't forget to use my link in the description below to download. Thank you, Star Trek Fleet Command, for sponsoring this video. Now let's warp speed over to Mars. Zubat goes first with Supersonic, confusing Brock. What else is new with this guy? Well, it turns out Brock contributed nothing to this battle because I switched in Cynthia to Intimidate and then taken the fake out. We then exchange a few scratches that plugs back and forth. I noticed Probably is faster, and that Cynthia is in lethal range to dying from a critical hit. So I quick attack the next turn to fake the cat first. Zubat is back, but only does minimal damage with U-turns, so Cynthia wins that duel as well. Shortly after an Eternaforce, Brock evolves into a Grottle. Gardenia will be the easiest gym leader of this whole run. I just lead Cynthia and pluck, 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 pluck. Jupiter, on the other hand, can be quite a problem. Her Skuntank has Flamethrower, which can incinerate rock. Cynthia has a minus special defense nature, and James can't really do much right now. I made sure to have Cynthia hold a Pension Berry in case Skuntank uses Poison Gas. The Zubat's frightens me a little with Poison Bait because I don't want a berry to be wasted against Zubat, but things turn out just fine. However, with Skuntank, you can see that only 3 flamethrowers are needed to kill Cynthia. Thankfully, she goes for Poison Gas the next turn, which Cynthia just heals herself by eating the Helly Berry. But then I have an Ash moment. Oh goodness, okay. Yeah, see, we actually would escape. Oh no! Oh my gosh, oh! I totally forgot about that. Yeah, forgot to consider Aftermath, but I got super lucky. No one died. Since I do have the ability to cut trees, I make my way back to Old Chateau to find myself a Ghastly. Mr. YouTuber, Ash never had a Ghastly. Time for me to clarify my rules regarding the encounters. I'm allowing myself to catch the pre-evolutions of Ash's Pokemon. For instance, Ash had a Haunter and a Gengar, so I can catch a Ghastly which will evolve into them. However, I cannot evolve Pokemon past the stage where Ash didn't evolve the Pokemon. For example, Ash did not evolve his Weasel because he's a dweeb. Therefore, I cannot evolve my own Weasel. Speaking of which, on Route 209, I find a Mime Jr. which will become a Mr. Mime just like the one Ash used. I named him my new dad. I am your father. she's the safest Pokemon to use during our travels. This has caused her to level up fast, and I don't want her to go over the level cap, which is the level of the next gym leader's ace Pokemon until the start of that battle. So I box her for now and have the worst Ash moment.
Maya seems like the easier one, so we'll face Maya first.
Oh, that's not Moo, that's Zoo. That is not Maya. Oh, crap, that's not Maya. Oh, shoot. Oh, my bad, oh, my bad. Oh, burn! No! Which. No, this is good. Well, since this is an unlock, when a Pokemon on my face, I cannot use it anymore, and since I whited it out, I have to erase my save file and start over. So on to attempt 2. Cynthia handled Jupiter with a lot less stress this time, and already back to the rainy route. I think the freak not. By the way, you can pause here to see the new natures of each Pokemon for those interested. Luckily, after you reach Solaceon Town, you can go back to Hearthstone City, and the south entrance is now open, so I go that way instead. Which is great because I can finally get Ash's real starter Pokemon at the Trophy Garden. Well, almost. It's a Pichu, but I do name her Pikachu though. Next, I go underground to find another encounter. I find a Munchlax, which is great because those things are near impossible to find from the sweet honey trees. However, the Nuzlocke rules say that I can only get the first Pokemon I encounter from each area, which means Gligar is no longer an option. It can only be found underground. But I think Snorlax will overall be better. I name him Professor Oak.
Why didn't you want to trade for Betty? Why? Bitch on the bird line pointing to my coach.
1 million people use Grammarly every day to improve their writing. You can use it on your computer or your phone. And for your most important work, Grammarly Editor provides comprehensive writing feedback on correctness, clarity, engagement, and delivery.
And after, Ash's dad evolves into a Haunter, which is great because I can now do a trade back with one of my awesome viewers to evolve him into a Gengar. And that's just what I needed when facing the gym leader Melee. Ash's dad immediately scares off Meditite, swapping in Machoke in their place. Needless to say, that thing is not surviving a psychic attack. Meditite comes back to be OHKO'd by a Hex. Now Lucario knows he's also doomed, so he just flexes with Volca. I can't believe Ash's dad was finally there for him. Shortly after getting the third bag, Pikachu evolves into Pikachu. And we're gonna make balls double Pikachu's attack against so she's perfect for Crasher Wave. Only problem is Wave's Floatzel. That thing is so dang fast. Thus, I have Pikachu use 1 agility to double her speed. Gyarados bites hard with Crunch, but now it's GG's for his water types. Thunderbolt the Gyarados, Grass Knot the Quagsire, and outspeed the Floatzel. Aqua Jet. I forgot about Aqua Jet, everyone. I forgot about Aqua Jet. I was so concerned about speed that I tunnel visioned myself, totally forgetting to check the Weasel's moves. Turns out, Aqua Jet being a priority move led to Pikachu dying, Ash's main Pokemon. With my head hanging low, my other Pokemon step up to the plate and say, Andrew, let's do this. For her. Don't flinch. Don't you dare flinch. The plan is working. Yes, panic! I forgot to tell everyone to press panic! I can't... Ice cream? Panic. This is exactly why I brought James. I brought James specifically to get hit by the water attacks, and it's been working swell. He's going for ice cream! Don't get a crit, oh my gosh. Dude, I need you to hit. Come on, buddy, I need you to hit. Come on. Buddy! Where's your quick claw? I gave you that thing. There we go, there we go. Oh my gosh. It was finally over. Not gonna lie, I feel bad for not involving James since he was such a key part for making sure no one else died. But rules are rules. I get a breather with the next rival battle. Cynthia took care of his whole team. 2 major upgrades happened as a result. Professor Oak evolved into Snorlax, and Brock evolved into Torterra. After defeating some trainers in the P-Soup Fog, Cynthia reaches her final form, becoming a Staraptor. Fantina allows you to battle her per Cyrus's approval. Ash's dad fits in with her ghost types, immediately plowing through Drifblim with a Shadow Ball. Now, Fantina's Gengar may seem scary, but I have nothing to fear since her only ghost attack is Shadow Claw. That paired with an awful attack stack comforts Ash's dad while he bowls over the opposing Gengar with a Shadow Ball. Dad is injured enough where he'll have to swap out for Professor Oak, who's immune to the Phantom Force, then Oak coats the Mismagius with a single crunch, winning us the 5th gym badge. Another rival battle? Cynthia, please handle this. Yo, Riley, what's up? I'll make you a deal, bro. I'll get you out of this cave, and in return, you get New Yak to learn Mimic within the next few battles. Sure enough, he does, then evolves into Mr. Mime. I'll take that egg, too. According to science, riding back and forth on a bicycle hatches eggs.
Science is so amazing!
Willow joins the team and is named Paul. After some more friendship grinding, Paul evolves into a Lucario. Going around to check on the honey trees is a pain. I hardly ever find a Nash encounter, but this tree had an Avon. That kinda sucks though. I was hoping for a Heracross. I named the monkey Misty and Boxer since I can't evolve her, no thanks to Ash. Anyways, let's go challenge another gym. It's Byron's Bronzor vs. Brock. I start things off with Stealth Rocks while they use Trick Room, making slower mons faster for the next few turns. Upon switching in Professor Oak, Bronzor confuses us, but Oak is able to heal himself with a Hell of Person Berry. Bronzor is inspired from the recent Doom film, getting sanded everywhere while Oak crunches. Bronzor goes for another Confuse Ray, but thankfully Oak eventually gets through and he crunches again, eliminating the Bronzor. Brock tags in for Oak's spot on the playing field, taking in the Earthquake relatively well. I have him Sword Stance for an attack boost, then Steelix goes for a Gyro Ball. It doesn't do enough, so Brock begins his rampage, Earthquaking Byron's remaining mons. It didn't stand a chance because of the Stealth Rocks placed at the beginning of the battle, effectively negating their sturdy abilities. 6 gym badges ours. There's a magic carpet behind this rock. So you know what Ash does? He flexes next to it. Like, why? And then he eats it? I express my compliments to the chef, Saturn. The real Pokemon battle. Ash's dad Oak hosts his entire team with Shadow Balls and a Psychic. Do you hate Magikarp? Let's battle for the next meal. Paul gets a chance to shine here. He Sword Stances first, and Skullbat's bites do so little damage. A couple Metal Claws later, wipe out that bat. Brother comes in to weaken our boosted power with Growl, but it's not enough to save her from a Drain Punch. Bronzor tries to stop us with the Confuse Ray, but Paul pulls through with more Drain Punches, winning the game. It's time to get revenge against the 7th gym leader. Her name has caused so many to fall for the D's Nuts jokes. So I'm gonna have Cynthia, the Staraptor, one-shot everyone on her team with a close combat or plug. Thanks for watching out for us little guys, Ash. Cynthia keeps going though. Against Cyrus's Murkrow, a couple plucks do the job, and a close combat obliterates his Sneasel. His Golbat then goes for a Screech right when I switch to Lucario. That's a free switch since Golbat's only physical move is Poison Bait, which doesn't affect Steel types. So we trade Metal Claws and Air Cutters back and forth, eventually coming out on top. Why would you let a kid like you come and go freely? Just shut up and give me the legendaries. Now when I get to Spear Pillar...
son? He's not feeling well. He's got a cold. Well, I don't want him to get cold. Okay? Okay. You know about little doggy outfits. For Wright. What is it? Well, I guess it's going to be right foot on it. That was good. You need another hour after that.
To stop Team Galactic, I decided to pull up the anime to see how Ash stops it. Well, it looks like they just went ham, which I'm not going to be able to do. But I did notice something. I think the Jetful Legendaries may be related to a certain Star Wars creature. Anyways, my rival and I team up to get past Cyrus's goons. By the way, I swear, every freaking Team Galactic member has a bronze sword. Do they have a warehouse just full of these things?
We'll get to the thing on food. It's Yellow Jones. We've got great prizes for every goal, $100 grand if any player scores 4 goals, and $1 million for 5 goals in the game. $3 million scored wins. It's a piece of cake. Only at Save on Food.
Whatever. The key to winning this is patience. I aim for Mars's Bronzor first because I don't want Jupiter's Skuntank to flamethrower Brock. They put up a reflect and use payback. The next turn, Mars's Steel Plate goes down. She sends out for Ugly Next, who isn't hurt by Earthquake much because of the screens. Thankfully, the cat body slams the Munchlax, knocking it out, but I get the great partner Staraptor now, which is so worth it. I go Earthquake again, but the cat dodges it by U-turning the Golbat in her place. I guess my rival wants this battle to go on forever using Double Team. Brock dodges the U-turn, then crunches back. Unfortunately, we get confused. Staraptor plucks Golbat and then pieces out with the U-turn. Then Brock heals with Synthesis. Her ugly body slam Staraptor, also getting the paralysis, and then I went for crunch this time, just in case they would do a U-turn again. Staraptor passes out from hitting itself in confusion, which brings out Infernape next. Awesome teammate, since he just immediately knocks out the cat with close combat, while I crunch the Bronzor to 0 HP. Double Golbat is exactly what I wanted to see, because of no flamethrower. Infernape Flame Wheels, a Golbat Poison Fangs, Brock crunches, and the other Golbat uses Air Cutter. Back to Infernape getting a KO on one of the Golbats, and so does Brock. That just leaves Jupiter and Skuntank all alone. I shift in Professor Oak while my monkey partner close combats them. The poison gas from them does not work, since Oak's ability immunity prevents him from ever being poisoned. The last close combat makes it GG's for Jupiter and Mars, winning the doubles battle with no deaths on my team. So just like General Kenobi, we go straight into the boss battle as well. However, I forgot that, which means Brock leads us into this battle against a Haunch Crow, which has the moves Air Cutter and Night Slash, also the held item, Scope Lens, and the Super Luck ability, which means those two attacks will always crit. So of course I have to replace Brock with my new dad. Through the power of love, he dodges the incoming Air Slash twice. What a sweet father-son moment. And then there's the crit from us. This battle is no longer a worry with Cyrus throwing in Crobat next. I bring out my old dad while they tailwind. The critical hit Air Cutter doesn't even take 50% of our HP, and our Thunderbolt came close to one-shotting. A dodge from us next turn, and another Thunderbolt zaps the bat away. Gyarados is next, and since they still have tailwind doubling their speed, I swap dad for Cynthia, intimidating the Gyarados attack and flying above the Earthquake. I pluck away the Helm Conberry, and am then hit by an Ice Fang. We're in critical hit range to death now, so I have Cynthia U-turn out of here to bring back in Ash's dad. The Ice Fang brings dad below 50% HP, so he eats his Citrus Berry. And since both our Tailwind and Conberry are now gone, Ash's dad goes first, obliterating Gyarados with Thunderbolt. Revile is revealed as Cyrus's ace, so I switch for Fall, but since they use Dig, I switch again for Cynthia. The aerial ace, but I hit them hard with a quad super effective close combat, saving the world. People say they wish they could see Ash's dad in the anime. However, in this case, I'm glad he's a ghost, since that makes the Dialga encounter automatically easier, since we can just auto-run from the battle without risking any lives. Sunny Shore City. Volkner is like the guy working at the store by himself, but is never at the cashier station. Come on, bud, back to the gym. We all gotta work for a living. Wait, what can you see in these binoculars? Alright, time to defeat all of the required gym trainers. Should be a breeze, right? I forgot about reversal. Yep, totally went into autopilot mode and forgot to check out this guy's moveset. Well, who am I supposed to replace Brock with? I caught a Gimble back at Wayward Cave while retrieving the Earthquake TM. The problem is, I'm not allowed to evolve Aipom, Weasel, and Gimble. Come on, Ash, why'd you have to do this to me? At least for now, I shouldn't need any of them, so let's challenge Volkner. I send out Professor Oak first, since his high special defense can withstand Raichu's immediate Volt Switch. Then the high horsepower does quite a bit of damage to the Aipom. I predict he's gonna go for a fake out, so I switch in Ash's dad, who isn't affected by it. A Dark Pulse gets rid of the monkey. Back to Oak, while Raichu Volt Switches for Octillery. I have the leftovers item to heal each turn, so I protect first. The Octopus then goes for Aurora Beam, and Oak slams it with his body, also paralyzing them, which means Oak can go first the next turn, body slamming again, faking Octillery without receiving any additional damage. Once again, Raichu makes a brief appearance before Volt Switching on out to Luxray, who dodges my high horsepower. Oak's physical defense is not as great, so I pivot in Cynthia for the Intimidate, and then she also dodges the Iron Tail. Cynthia then shows off her own Switch Out move, U-turn, to bring Paul into action, resisting the Thunder Ring. Earthquake easily takes down Luxray from here, and I'm not going to risk anything with Raichu when I know Professor Oak can soak in all of its moves. One body slam from him squashes the Raichu into a pancake, winning us the final gym badge. Since the level cap jumps up so high from this point, Victory Road and the last rival fight are a breeze. But I'll keep the last rival battle playing in the background as I explain the training I did to prepare for the Elite Four. The other Pokemon I could have caught were Heracross and Knocked Out. I didn't see a need for another flying type, and I didn't want to pause this challenge for too long just waiting for a Heracross to appear. So Misty the Aipom will be my 6th team member. Now, since all of these Pokemon have already been gaining EVs from battles throughout the whole story, I decided to optimize what stats I could, even if I couldn't max them out. With Misty, I was able to train her special defense to the max and get a sizable amount of HP in there. All of my new dad's remaining EVs went into special attacks, but it didn't get full though. I was almost able to tap out dad's remaining speed, but we did get enough for one instance that I'll need a doubt speed. It may seem weird that I trained a Jolly Nature's Lucario to be a special attacker, but I'll explain that later. With all that said, let's begin the Elite Four challenge. Brock dying may have been the best thing for me. It opened my eyes with what Misty can do. You see, the hardest part about the Elite Four in this game is that the developers made their Pokemon really dang fast. So Misty increases her speed and special attack with Agility and Nasty Block. You can see from that Bug Buzz attack how much the EV training is really kicking in. Misty baton passes the boosted stats over to my new dad. He gets poisoned from Toxic, but heals from the Hell Petra Berry. This is an auto win here. Toxic can't go through Substitute, and Dustox's only attacking move is Bug Buzz, which can't hurt us since we have the soundproof ability. Ash's new dad sweeps Aaron's entire team with Psychic, save for Drapion, who falls to a dazzling lead. Before heading into the next room, I teach Mr. Mime Energy Ball and Grass Knot. This will give us the advantage versus Bertha's ground types. So a small person's brain like Ashes, would immediately go for the kill here. And while I know that's tempting to do, we have to hope for Toxic. I need Toxic. Please, Toxic me, please! Please! No! Oh, the plan is ruined. The plan is ruined. The reason why I need Toxic is Golem has Sturdy. I can't kill Golem in one hit, and Golem can kill us in one hit. Now he goes for Toxic. What? Please go for Toxic. I need you to hit with Toxic. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we can win. All right, we can win without dying. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, that's why I need a sub, because Golden's not going down one hit, and Golden can one-shot us. That's why the sub is so important. Okay, that's fine. Oh no, this isn't good. This guy kind of ruins my plans. Oh, this is bad. I did not want to see this guy next. I needed to see this guy last. Okay, energy ball here. Ah! That's a high roll. I know it didn't. I knew it did not kill without a crit. I knew that. But I wasn't expecting to see Win Cash already. Don't break this up. Please don't break this up. Please don't break this up. That's so bad. I could have got a sub up. I messed up. Oh, I messed up. I messed up bad. I should have thought of that. I messed up bad. Oh no. Okay, wait. I could have got a sub up. We would have won. Wait. We still win. Pseudo Wudo, that's good. I'll take Pseudo Wudo any day. That's great. Okay. Oh, if you could send the Hippo out next, I know you won't send the Hippo out next, but if you could send the Hippo out next, that'd be the best case scenario. Gosh dang it, it's Golem. This is the guy I need to sub for. Oh, what do I do here? Oh, I need Mr. Mime. I need everyone for Cynthia. Just hopefully no crits. There it is. I'm fine with that. We have to do this. Okay. You turn. Don't you dare rock polish or heavy slam. Please don't. So then we should be fine. No crit. Oh, thank goodness. No crit. Crit would have killed us. Oh. We win. Okay. Oh my gosh. We win. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm shaking. Okay. Let's see. Energy ball here. Get out of here, dude. Oh, freaking A. That was so dang close. Okay. Let me grab now win here. Okay. That's death. Stupid. Okay. This is really bad. I don't know how we're gonna beat Cynthia. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just lost Mr. Mime. Everything, I wasn't even worried about the Caledon. It was such a, I did the count, and it's such a high % chance to kill. So always brave for here. Dang, freaking big, oh wow, crit. Way to go, buddy. I think that just won us the game. I lost mine. Oh, guys, I don't know how we're going to beat Cynthia. Yuck, that sucks. My plan to beat Cynthia included Ash's new dad, Mr. Mime. But we'll worry about that later. For Flint, it's Gengar time. He's holding the choice specs, which boosts his special attack by 50%. That, along with the speed ED training I did earlier, allowed him to outspeed Rapidash and outcode them before they even get a chance to use Hypnosis. Ash's dad also one-shots the Steelix. I get a free switch versus Low Bunny since they went for a mirror code. I protected Cynthia, causing the bunny to crash from a high jump kick, doing massive damage to itself. The next turn, I bring him back to Ash's dad, which makes Low Bunny next high jump kick go right through him and crash land. Ash's dad is now back in control of this match, O-coding the Drifloon with a Shadow Ball. Even though we were faster than Rapidash, Blitz and Burning still outspeeds us. The Fire Punch does decent damage, but the worst part is my Shadow Ball doesn't even get the monkey down to 1 HP, which means he still has his Focus Sash. I swapped with one here to keep Dan alive, and for Cynthia to weaken them with Intimidate while they heal with a full restore. I faked the Thunder Punch, hit the Professor Oak, then switch again to bait the close combat into Cynthia. After 2 Intimidates, I think Cynthia is okay to taking another hit, then you turn me Infernape, effectively breaking the Focus Sash. But can't Ash's dad finish and tell the tale? Don't crit me. Oh my gosh, no crit, okay. Oh, undefeated, it's on to the last Elite Four member, Lucian. Here's where I can explain why I made Paul a special attacker, even though he's jolly nature. Lucario in this game does not have crunch, and I need a John Blue button. To compensate for the minus special attack nature, I nasty block. I don't need all three, but I do need to stall out Mr. Mime's line screen turn. Once enough time has gone by, Flash Cannon wipes out Mr. Mime. Same goes for Medicham. Alakazam uses Future Sight rather than Psychic, so Dark Pulse from us shatters the Magician. Same thing goes for Giraffe Braid.
And need I say more for Bronzong?
It's now time for the final battle of this run. Will Ash again go home a loser, or will he be crowned the Sinnoh champion? Remember, speed is the issue here. After Misty uses Agility twice and survives 2 Dark Pulses, Chupaton passes the tripled speed over to Professor Oak, the only Pokemon we haven't used during the Elite Four yet. He takes in the Dark Pulse just fine. Now, Spiritomb is going to attempt Sucker Punches the next 5 turns because they know Snorlax can't take a physical hit well. So I take advantage of this and use Belly Drum, a move that removes half of Oak's HP, but in return, he gets his attack stat increased by 6 stages to the max. He then eats his Citrus Berry, and I press Recycle until Spiritomb is out of Sucker Punches. A single high horsepower removes Spiritomb from the field. Of course, during the Cynthia battle, I want to say the battle was intense, but with Oak's new speed and power, all that's left is to see Professor Oak one-hit KO each of Cynthia's Pokemon with Body Slams. Yes, even the Guard Chomp. So we did it! We helped Ash become the Sinnoh champion after he got ripped off in the anime. It kind of feels wrong that we did this without Pikachu, but I see their death as what motivated me to win this. If you want to see more character big runs like this, give the video a like and subscribe. I'm hoping to release more champion-based runs and would love for you to come along on my journey. If you ever want to see any of my future runs live, go check out my YouTube live stream channel. Link in the description below. You all have a good one. Thanks.
One bad game at one international tournament, heck, in the first game of one international tournament, does not define an entire prospect's profile and their career and their future success as an NHL talent. That is not what I'm going to go out there and say here. But what I will go out there talking about kind of implies that there is a conversation to be had about this player. Let's talk about Yaroslav Askarov, the top goaltending prospect of the Nashville Predators, drafted 11th overall by the team at the 2020 NHL entry draft. Now, the reason we're talking about him here today is mostly because of the body of work that he has done in the past few seasons, but with a whole bunch of recency bias thrown in there because he played yesterday for Team Russia against the Swedes. He also has had himself a season this year, which we'll get into, but Yaroslav Askarov, as we noted, 11th overall 2020 NHL entry draft, he was a guy that was supposed to be like the best goaltending prospect since Andrei Vasilevsky, heck, maybe even since Carey Price, because Vasilevsky wasn't really seen as that top-of-the-line goaltender when he was drafted in 2012. This guy, Askarov, was better than Spencer Knight. He was in the same territory as that Jesper Wallstedt who went a year later. And in a draft class that was as stacked as the 2021, with guys like Lafreniere, Byfield, Stutzla, Raymond, Rossi, all these guys that were top-of-the-line players, Yaroslav Askarov was that goaltender in the class that just stood above and beyond everybody else. In fact, just to hammer home the point how good Yaroslav Askarov was supposed to be, I was one of those guys that said in his videos multiple times that if Yaroslav Askarov was drafted somewhere in the top 3, like he was taken 1st or 2nd overall or 3rd overall, I wouldn't question it. Like, yes, it would not be the pick that I would have made personally, but I would understand why any team in that position would make that pick. He was so highly touted, so above and beyond everybody else that we have seen in all goaltending prospects heading into the drafts since those Carey Price and Andrei Vasilevsky-like guys, that Askarov was seen as the best bet of all bets to make on anybody with a franchise label of potential. It's just, he didn't go that high. He went 11th, even though he was projected to going a lot higher by a lot of the scouting outlets. TSN and Craig Bucking had him at number 6, so that's kind of where that conversation comes from in one respect. But when it comes to Yaroslav Askarov and the way that he has performed recently, let's go over yesterday's Team Russia versus Team Sweden game. If you watched the earlier video in the show about how Red Wings prospects for Team Sweden and Team Canada are doing their thing, you would know that Yaroslav Askarov did not have the greatest game in this game against Sweden. It is ultimately a 6-3 Swedish victory where Yaroslav Askarov gave up 3 of the opening goals and then did not suit up for the third period because they gave the net to their other goaltender instead, who really didn't perform all too well either. Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate seeing Igor Guskov go in there and let in the goals that he did. But 6-3 for Sweden is the end score right here. Even though Matvei Mishkov went out there and tried to do his best to bring everybody back in it, Sweden just kind of pried everything open afterwards. So Yaroslav Askarov had himself a performance in this one that wasn't really all too great. He had 16 shots on goal against, he let in 3 in the 40 minutes of ice time that he played, and he had 13 saves. So he went out there with an 8-1 save percentage in his first game, which of course I'm not going to go out there and judge the entirety of a prospect's profile because of one game at the beginning of a tournament, but it wasn't really all that great. And the goals that he let in, okay, one of them, the first one, Oscar allows him an absolute snipe on the power play. It goes short side, it goes right by Askarov. That's not really that bad. You see NHL goaltenders give up goals like that all the time. The second goal, though, Simon Edvinsson on a breakaway. This one was kind of fishy. Now, I do love Simon Edvinsson. If you're a Red Wings fan, you saw the previous video, you know how much I love this guy and am expecting the world out of him. But this goal wasn't really a good one for Askarov because Edvinsson comes in on the breakaway. He fakes backhand, he goes forehand, he shoots it 5-hole. The puck actually deflects off of Askarov's stick, and it bounces off of his stick, hits his leg, and then trickles over the goal line. You could see that Askarov's stick bounces very vibrantly after the puck hits the stick, which kind of says to me, if Yaroslav Askarov just kind of held his stick a little bit tighter, maybe the puck doesn't bounce off of the stick in the way that it did, and maybe that's not a goal that goes in. Just a concern to bring up because last year during the World Juniors, one of the biggest things that Askarov was exhibiting was the fact that he would lose his goal stick like once or twice a game. There would be moments where there was a shot in front or there was a player in front and Askarov drops his stick and it goes into the corner and he's playing without a stick for an extended amount of time. This happened a lot, and the stick problems with Askarov were something that a lot of people were very intrigued by. So seeing this goal by Edvinsson where the puck bounces off the stick in a very loose kind of way where it's like, yeah, you could tell he wasn't really holding onto the stick as hard as he could have because the bounce from the stick was pretty significant. That's just kind of one of the things that was brought up there. And of course, you never want to see the 5-hole goals go in on guys like this. Guskov, the next goaltender, let in 2 more, so it definitely wasn't great for Team Russia. And then you have yourself what was the third goal scored on Askarov. It was Emil Andre who at the point takes the puck right in front of the screen. He shoots it through everybody and it goes right in. This one was a really bad goal too for Askarov because yes, he didn't see it, but he was going down as the puck was getting shot towards him and his arms were kind of pushed outwards. It's like he was flapping his wings, He wasn't really in the square goaltending position, which is why as he's going down, it's so miraculous that the puck actually goes right through his armpits. Since his arms are up and since he's going down at the same time, it was the perfectly placed shot by Emil Andre that gets right through and makes it 3-0 over here. This was not a good goal for Yaroslav Askarov. I think Ray Ferraro said it best, that he just kind of lost sight of it. He was really trying to look through everybody, trying to see what was going on, and because he was looking over a few guys, he didn't really see the shot come through, and as he was going down, it just went right by him. Definitely not the good elite vision that we've noticed out of Yaroslav Askarov after the past 2 seasons when he was draft eligible. But this conversation is very interesting to have because when it comes to Askarov, last year he had himself a 9-14 and a 2.50 in the 6 World Junior games that he played. He was 3-3. The year before that, in his draft eligibility year, he had himself an 8.77 and a 2.71 in 5 games played. He was 2-1, so he had a pound of record, but the numbers were not great. And just the way he was playing was not really all too great either. So far, when it comes to Askarov and his World Junior play for the past 3 seasons, it hasn't really been in that same caliber of a Jesper Wallstedt or a Spencer Knight, other guys who are kind of touted as the top goaltending prospects in the NHL at the moment. Askarov, who is considered to be the best by some, second best by others, has not really had that same level of success at all on the international under-20 stage. You then go over to his regular league play this season. Last year in the KHL, in 9 games played, Askarov had a 9.51 save percentage and a 1.21 goals against. Beast numbers right there. In the VHL, the second tier league had a 9.23 save percentage and a 2.12 goals against, so he was still pretty good in the second tier league last year as an 18-year-old. Take a look at Askarov this year, though. In the KHL, 5 games played, he has himself a 1-1-2 record, which isn't great, but he also has a 9.04 save percentage and a 2.01 goals against average. Yaroslav Askarov has not put up a 9.0 something save percentage in any regular Russian league. Going back to 2018-19, playing for SKA Varyagi in the playoffs, where he had an 8.98 save percentage. That was in the NHL. That was 3 seasons ago. Who really cares about that? The guy was 16 years old playing in a regular junior league. Statistically speaking, Yaroslav Askarov this season has been a shade of his former self, and it's kind of been consistent. Even in the VHL, the guy's at a 9.13 save percentage and a 2.20 goals against average in 5 games. Now, his record is not terrible, a 1-1-2 record in the KHL and a 2-2-1 record in the VHL, but still, just seeing the cold hard numbers behind it, Yaroslav Askarov is playing worse than he did last season, and I'm going to be honest, man, his 2022 World Junior debut yesterday was not great in particular either. And again, I love Yaroslav Askarov as a prospect. Just seeing the athleticism, seeing the skills and the capabilities throughout the previous few seasons has been an absolute treat. And I've been making so many videos waxing poetic about how good Askarov is and how good this guy's going to be in the NHL, how he's going to be a Vezina winner one day, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. He's got all this great stuff going for him. It's just, this season in the KHL, the VHL, etc., and the World Juniors, oh man, it hasn't been good. In fact, his World Juniors performance has never really been in that tier where a lot of fans can unanimously agree, say, yeah, he was fantastic, like he was freaking amazing right there. Even the previous year, where he was at a pretty solid 9.14, it wasn't a particularly noteworthy goaltending performance, especially compared to the expectations for this guy. So, talk to me in the comments on your thoughts about Yaroslav Askarov. Do you notice the same things that I've noticed over here? Has it really been just a coincidence when it comes to how poorly he's been performing?
Marvel fans, assemble official metal posters.
All aboard! Choo-choo, man! Let's get on to the hype train, because the World Juniors, hey, they're starting up. Now, sure, the games that are being played right now are not really the most important games in the world. We're just kind of in the prelims right now, so it's not really that significant, but still, my goodness, yesterday's game, Canada versus Russia, was an absolute firecracker, and it was one that had a lot of people going out there and starting to talk about 2023, guys, because man, oh man, did we see ourselves a showdown. Of course, Canada, Russia, it's always going to be a fun game. This time it ends up being a pretty lopsided Canadian victory. 6-4 is the final score, and I get it, 6-4, oh, the Russians were only within 2. Yeah, but they were within 3, with a few minutes left to go in the game, and you could really see that Team Canada getting onto a 4-0 lead at the beginning of the game really did set the tone for the rest of the competition. And a lot of the goals that the Canadian goaltenders let in were kind of stinkers, so that's kind of why you play these preliminary games in the first place, just to get those stinkers out of your system. But still, this game, despite the fact that it's part whatever it is of Canada versus Russia, despite the fact that we saw some really good performances out of NHL drafted guys like Mason McTavish of the Anaheim Ducks, Olin Zellweger of the Anaheim Ducks, Donovan Sobrano, he has an own goal, and then he also gets himself a very nice assist. He's a Detroit Red Wings prospect. We had Cole Perfetti with some really good plays too. Kent Johnson was absolute dynamite out there. There were some really good performances from a lot of these guys. But the spotlight, for many fans, including myself, was not really on these NHL drafted players. In fact, it wasn't even on the guys that are going to be drafted this year. Not Shane Wright, not the guys that are going to be taken, not Ivan Miroshnichenko. Oh wait, he didn't make the team. We were kind of focusing on 2023 guys. Yeah, this was part 1 of X in the Conor Mcgart versus Matvey Mishkov showdown this year in the World Junior Tournament. Now, yeah, again, prelims, doesn't really matter, but just seeing this game go down the way it did, with 2 extraordinarily different players, with 2 extraordinarily different ways of deployment going out there, It made for some very entertaining hockey and one of the most, let's just say, impressive showcases for 16-year-old athletes at this tournament. Now, Conor Mcgart is the first Canadian player to make this team at age 16 since Connor McDavid, and I believe he's like the 8th player overall, alongside like Gretzky and Lemieux and all that, so good for him. We also had ourselves Matvei Michkov making Team Russia, much to the surprise of nobody. These two guys are going to be the first and second overall picks in the 2023 NHL entry draft, so no, not next year's draft, the 2022 draft, the year after that. The tanking rate in 2022-2023 is going to be insane, isn't it? And these two guys are going to be your prize if you suck in that season. Bedard and Michkov, though, play very different styles, and we saw that in the U18s tournament earlier in, I believe it was Texas this season, where Conor Mcgart went out there. He was at 2 points a game. He scored a whole bunch of crazy goals, like really, really nifty goals. Goals that you don't usually see ever go in. He takes the puck off the inside of his skates on the rush, and he kicks to the backhand and shoves it far side. Crazy things like that. Matvei Michkov, on the other hand, had way more goals than Bedard, less assists. Where Conor Mcgart had 7 goals and 7 assists in 7 games played for 14 total points, Matvei Michkov, in the 7-game play sample that he had 12 goals and 4 assists for 16 points, leading the tournament in scoring. Michkov kind of had that release. He just had the oldie slap shot, except he was on the right side instead of the left. More Kucherov than Ovechkin, but an equally accurate and deadly snipe as well. While Conor Mcgart could be seen as the more exciting or the more dynamic player than Matvei Michkov, Michkov's just pure ability to just snipe it whenever he wants is phenomenal. And the Russians went out there and gave him that stage to showcase that off in yesterday's game against Team Canada. 2 of the goals were scored by Matvei Michkov, and they were just absolute snipes. It was exactly what I just described. Shakir Mukhamadullin gets the puck at the far right point blue line, and he just sends it over to the face-off circle where Matvei Michkov one-times it in. He did that twice, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're gonna have to get used to that because Matvei Michkov scores a lot of goals, and a lot of the goals that he scores look like that. Now, the second one wasn't the same setup, but it was just a slap shot one-timer. Again, this one was on the rush. Michkov was actually on the left side this time, shooting across his body, and his ability to score from anywhere, it's pretty good. Conor Mcgart, on the other hand, did not have the same luck, nor did he really have the same opportunity, because he only played, I believe it was like 7 total minutes of time on ice in the game, which is incredibly low, but you gotta understand, Team Canada has itself a very stacked roster up top. Perfetti, Johnson, McTavish, etc. You know who's on this team. And Canada never really has the best reputation when it comes to playing underage players in significant roles. You see Alexis Lafreniere in what was, I believe, the 2019 World Juniors. He didn't really get a chance to play there. You see Quinton Byfield in the 2020 World Juniors. He didn't really get a chance to play there either. And it wasn't really until these guys were 19, 20 years old that they actually had opportunities that were significant. And for Conor Mcgart, I mean, he's 16, so it's not really like he's going to be out there with all the power play time and everything. He was on the second unit on the power play, and they used him in the bumper spot, which is not where he's used to play. He's usually used to, I believe he's on the right side when he plays with Regina, and he commands the play just with his speed and whenever he controls the puck. He didn't have that here. And as a result, the only goal he scored was, and I say, oh, he didn't really have all this stuff, but he scored a goal. The only goal he scored was a Perfetti centering masterpiece. It's a good turnover into the
Pokemon region until Unova. So today I'm here to undo that injustice and become the first bug catcher in Unova, the region with the strongest bug attacks. I already have a starter Pokemon, but it's not my real starter. That is not my real starter. Aha! Aha! This is my real starter! It is only level 2! Come on! It's fine. We're starting small. And there we go! I caught my starter! Kind of silly, but I'm calling it Fashion. Now, after some training, Fashion and I are ready to conquer the world. Oh my gosh! A single hit bug bite! That was amazing, Fashion! Alright, we're here to fight. Let's do this. John, aka Pokemon 7, took a little lunch, but I think we finish it here. And fashion defeats the fire type. Who sent you to hide that? Bug type. And I gotta say, on the snow that's on the ground, I did not dress appropriately. Member of a group that strikes fear in the hearts of those who stand before it? Fire type specialists? Oh, plasma? No. This is my first time in this. And it's already time for the first gym. I will show this region how strong bug types can really be. Hello, Sharon. Never heard of you before. Fashion. Nibble at this strange. Is it a meerkat, I think? Yeah. Alright, cool. And it's already working at best? Oh god. But it doesn't matter, I crit! Way to go, fashion! It's John and Sharon. Dark tall grass. Oh. I'll have to investigate. And I'm so glad I did a Venipede. And let's go! The second gym I will defeat with my beautiful bugs. Oh no, that's level 16. That's a weaker Pokemon. Autobot, I need you to not miss a single one. Oh no! My Oranberry though. That did not do very much. It's roll out. This KOs. Okay, do I have another hit of rollout? You get our next Pokemon? Am I faster than our next Pokemon? Yeah, so good. This is so difficult. Oh, and it protects! That was really smart, Roxy! Okay, well, potion, I have the potion here. I think it takes it. Double protected, you fool! Land this Screech, Autobot. I need you to land this Screech. Yes! And my rollouts will do twice as much Venoshock? I should resist this. Does it not know rollout? Okay, that's not very much. No! Not the crit! Oh no, I'm so close! No! Fashion. Super potions. No, that gets it all the way back up to full! Well, I'm screwed. Yeah, there's no way I can survive without that. Alright, I've trained a bit. Let's try again. I'm gonna do differently this time, because I'm gonna screech the coughing to begin with. Hopefully this means I take it down with my rollouts a lot faster. Okay, it didn't crit me with a tackle this time, so I'm getting the Oranberry healing already back to 27. This rollout does KO. The Whirlipede, beautiful, powerful bug type, probably protects here. But if it doesn't, okay, it does protect. That's fine. That's what we expect. Now we screech, okay? Venoshock, that's fine. But now we screech again. It protects, okay, that's just one turn. You landed, okay? We're low, you potion here, because she's gonna use them, so do I. And it protects! Ha! And now we roll out. -4 defense. Just one more rollout. Even if it protects next turn, the first hit of rollout still is enough. But we got the next one! Autobot rolled out! And we defeat the bug-type gym leader! I mean poison-type gym leader. It's just the bug-types, they're so good! You know, this gym badge is a poison-type gym badge, but it's kind of like a catch gym. Plasma's conquest of the Universe region ended in failure? Well, that's good. That's good that that happened. Shut it, you guys are the worst. Oh, it's so aggressive. And now I am riding this glorious boat. How exciting. How thrilling. More bugs to be found in a large city. Maybe. I live in a city. I see bugs. You know, like the bugs. I can go inside the sewers from here. That's so exciting. There's gotta be bugs down there. Either you are bugs. You're not bugs either. I don't think there's any bugs down here at all. What kind of a sewer is this? Oh, but the sewer isn't that bad because it's allowed fashion to evolve into Swaddle. I mean Swadloon. Oh my god, why did I mess that up? Ah, there you are, Team Plasma, forcing me to trudge through this sewer that doesn't even have any bug types. Come on. I will just outcode that same out with a flame charge. I'm officially terrified of him. Oh, Gym Leader Bird. I wonder what his type specialty is. Oh my god. What? This is amazing. Fashion with one more level up after becoming a Swadloon is already a Levanny. This is incredible. Alright, time for the next gym, which is... Oh my god. This bug-type gym. He's sending out a Swaddle! It is a bug-type gym! They wouldn't let bug catchers into the region, but they allow a bug-type gym? Yes, Autobots, let your motivation to prove ourselves the best bug trainers in this region increase your power. even better at rolling out. I hate it. Bird, are you the reason why bug catchers were not allowed into this region for so many years? Did you institute that ban so you could be the strongest bug-type trainer? I'm going to make you regret that. Bird. Excellent. I have a beneficial matchup right off the bat. We don't care about a little struggle bug. My leftovers already got my head. Screechness, come on. Bruh. Oh, how did I miss 2 screeches? I'm just yelling. Tail lands. The first Pokemon's down. Webbel, I will switch. It's risky, but I think Webbel resists all of my things. Let's risk it. Oh, that does way less than I thought. One more, she doesn't heal? Heal, excellent. Now goes Webbel. I didn't get me one of those. His own Leavanny. I will need mine. Leavanny versus Leavanny. The hate's gonna win a entire level and I'm already hurt. But I could do some damage before I do. Maybe it has a berry and I'll eat it. That did a lot. It's super effective. Bug doesn't resist bug. I ate the citrus berry. Healing stream shots are full. These struggle bugs, which is super effective, but it's a weak move. Fashion holds on with the crit, lands the bug bite. And my Leavanny proves superior! Despite being 2 levels lower! That was dope! And it's no surprise I lost? Yeah! Yes! Give me a second. There's this guy. My Leavanny seems to display more self-confidence than others of the same species. I mean, yeah, did you see our battle just now? Now he wants to battle. Not rocks, but Crustal. Crustal's a bug type. Oh my gosh, can I have one? Are you looking all up? Oh, I don't know if I'm ready to fight all of them at once. Wait, no, come back, come back. Oh, I wanted one. You're gonna test me to see if I'm a trainer who can bring out the potential both. You know what? Fine, man. I think I get quite a bit of satisfaction out of defeating you, because you scared off all the bugs. Oh, no! Do I have any moves that a steel type does not resist? Alright, I've got this thing to -6 defense. Now, how much does a bug bite do? That's... I defeated him. Desert Resort. Oh, goodies I can find here. There's Flannel out here! Yes! Finally! Something that can deal with the freaking fire types! And I caught it! Fantastic! It's the rock in Pokemon. If it's the rock in Pokemon, that means that's a rock here. What's my favorite phrase? I've made it to Nimbasa City! Excellent! I know there's a gym in this town, but I feel like I should do some more training before I attempt it. Maybe increase my squad's roster, potentially. Oh, what's in here? Forest that has been lost and born. Well, it's not that lost. Excuse me, sir, do you happen to be familiar with the local bugs of the area? Bug, and it's the rare and elusive female combi. I must catch it once. Alright, I got the female combi, another bug. Usually known as Empress, because not only are you a queen, but you also impress. Shut up. There's also hackers. This forest is stacked. Come on, bug catching net. Oh, yes! Heracross on the team! Wow, what a find! Heracross love flinging things into the air with their horns, so I'm naming it after a device that does just that. A trebuchet! Oh my gosh! I didn't realize it evolved at such a low level! And now the team already has a queen! Or, nay, an empress. You've got to be kidding me! I just got the HM for Fly, and I can't teach it to Empress? Who is flying type? Why are you not compatible? You're constantly flying! Hurrah! It is I! Frenzy Boy! Frenzy Boy, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. I don't care! Tell me, did you ever get tired of playing Pokemon? No, not really. That's fair. If you did, it would be a professional problem for you. I might sometimes want to change it up, so do you have any recommendations? Well, how about Illudia, the sponsor of today's video? It's an open-world RPG where you collect monsters called Illudials, of which there are over 100, and then battle it out with them in an auto-battler setup. It's somewhat like Pokemon, but it's intended for an older audience. The game isn't out yet, but they released an incredible trailer and some bonus gameplay footage. Do you want to watch? That's like asking me if I want to prepare for trouble and make it double. The answer's obviously yes. Aw, this little guy is so cute. beautiful. Ooh, now the cute little guy is a big, strong guy. Oh, I love being able to power my partners out. And this gameplay combat looks really interesting, too. I like that different Illuvials fight from different distances, and that the player gets involved in the combat, too. Wow, this game looks super awesome. I agree, it looks fantastic. Also, if it matters to you, it's built on the Ethereum blockchain and it utilizes NFTs, if that's something you're interested in. I personally just think the game and the creatures look really fun. Cool! How do I learn more and stay up to date? Links to their website and their Discord server are in the description below. Perfect! I must have that cute little blue one. I must! Ta-ta!
One costume change, please.
Well, I may not be fully ready for this, but I'm gonna try it anyways. Hello, Elisa. You are very pretty, I'll admit it, but I'm going to beat you. Oh, that's the flying thing. Oh, that type thing. Our team is weak too. Is it volt switch? I have to switch. Okay. This is already not off to a great start. It does volt switch. Okay. It doesn't go for the flying move. It's good to know what to do that, even if it's shoot. Maybe I'll get a quick claw stealth rock up. Okay. Is that the quick claw or is that just faster? If they're gonna keep volt switching, I'm gonna let the stealth rocks beat him down. Oh wow, Rockstar went down, but I'm glad I got those up. I'm gonna risk it with fashion. It didn't go for a flying move the first time. Actually, let's scout it. Protect. That's okay. It's just going for volt switch. It might not even know a flying move. Quick attack. Okay, it's not switching. Okay, there's the hyper potion. That's expected. Leftover's really helpful because this thing, the fact that it doesn't know a flying move is huge. If it did, I'd be deep doo-doo. Molga's down. All right. There's that strike hat. I'm gonna protect to get a little bit more healing from the leftovers. Oh no! I feel like I have to keep fashion healthy, so I'm gonna swap into Autobot. We might just go down here, but also might not. Okay, doesn't go down. Does a lot though. Oh yes! I meant to do that. Wait a second. This thing outspeeds me. Obviously, it's at +2 speed. I could go for Brick Break, my strongest stat, but what's better is hoping I live. Goes for pursuit? Why did you go for pursuit? Go for flame charge this time. Volt switch? What are you? Why did you suddenly stop flame charging? Oh god, it crit me! Well, it certainly KOs me here, so now it's time for me to heal up. You're just putting more stealth rock damage on that strike at. Goes for quick attack! Yeah, why did it stop that? Why did it stop flame charging? Doesn't matter, I KO'd it. Finally moving on. Brick Break! I'm faster! Oh, it's not quite enough. You just activated Guts. It's over! Yes! First try! My 4th badge of the bug catcher. Hey, look, that's me. You have the wrong outfit on. Oh, and now I get to start my stuff with the model. Oh, now I have to do a rotation battle with Heartbreaker Charles, and he's got a Sigil. Oh, and he's got an Arkin and a Tortuga. Every one of these Pokemon is good against mine. Maybe he's dumb. Crap, he's not done. Okay, I took down the Tortuga. Aha! Okay, well, Charles took out 2 of my 5 Pokemon. Confidence is cruisers. Driftvale City, and is it hailing? Ow! 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 Famous guy named N. Who's this? Oh, hey, John. Ooh. Oh, my God, he just punched the crap out of that guy, John! The aggression, there's nothing in here, but the spiciness of that last level, I feel like that's probably a trend. It would also be nice to have something that could fly. Oh, trust. And here in this cave, there's still some little electric bugs, and I caught it! Let's go! And there's Shelmet nearby! Alright, got it! I'm naming it Infinity, because its evolution Excelgor looks like it's wearing a scarf. Infinity scarves are like a thing. And there I found a Carablast! Got it, let's go! Since I named the Shelmet Infinity, well then you, Beyond, so together they are Infinity and Beyond! I'm done.
After all that you've done for us, it's our turn to do something.
Done some research, and it seems in this universe, all you have to do to evolve Carablast and Shelmet is level them up while the other one is in the party. So all it needs to do is give this rare candy to Beyond, and it will evolve into a powerful Escavalier! And now, I needed another Carablast, dang it. Alright, I got a Carablast. Okay, there we go. Now I have an Excelgor. And I am in the box, sorry, but you're bug type, and that is not very useful, and the rest of my team is also bug type. But now, I can train you for the up to my bugs? Let me guess. Not well, since those bugs are very good at digging. At least a bug in more than one. Okay, that, it's fine. I want my attack back, so I'm swapping to Trebuchet, who can break you with no issues. One down. We'll raise it. Yes, it will. Excadrill. Steel type. Back to Trebuchet. Oh boy! Woo! No, I live another one. Going to risk it. I think I live another one. Crap! I should not have risked that. Trebuchet was my only Pokemon, not weak to rock. That could also do damage to it. Alright, fine. Autobots going to outspeed the Excadrill and screech it. No issues. Yes. The speed falling is not great, but let's see if I get a miracle and get to screech again. No. Okay. Give me a crit! No speed. The Razor Leaf hits? Oh, does a KO. But another hit will. That does nothing. But I am slower. If we hit this Razor Leaf, we win. Don't die or flinch. Oh! Fashion does it again! Holds on, doesn't flinch, gets the win! Fashion, you... Must come to me. Volcarona! I am worried about this because it's a fire type, I'm super powerful, and most of my team is weak to fire. Don't crit, don't crit, don't crit, don't crit, don't crit, don't crit. Yes! Alright, now comes the simple task, catching it before it kills my entire team. It's not even rocking. I am wildly concerned. I only have like a few turns left to catch this, unless if it could just only use String Shot. Just only use String Shot, man. Fire Spinning Gust caused me a lot of problems. Heck! 2, 3. Yes! That's why they kept us out of this region, because if the bug catchers were allowed here, we'd become too powerful. You shall be known simply as Saul. Guys, I would like to continue on my journey. What are you all doing? Did you enter these people's boats? Guys, you can't just enter people. Oh, I guess I should have been a ship. Why is it so cold? Yes, tell me about it. I don't have any sleep. Good news! Team Plasma? Oh! But I have bugs. Oh boy, that Golbat. Stoutland? Yes. Thank you, Stoutland. You're a good move. Oh, crap. And look at us, Sean. We are crushing these guys. Bye-bye. Oh, another old man. Well, he got kicked out by the Shadow Triad. Why am I getting dragged into this? I just wanted to catch bugs and kick booty. Oh, hey man, suddenly drop in temperature near Lacanosa Town. I mean, it is winter. Oh, my, yeah, that is a lot. Karen says he hates cold weather. I get it, man. I'm in short sleeves. Speaking of that, it is snowing, and I'm in a tank top and I am freezing. Okay, whew, now this isn't standard bug catcher attire, but you gotta work with the elements you're given. I made it to Mastron City. Oh, hi, Professor Juniper. Oh, my God, Professor Juniper, what the heck? Who is this? Skyla. Skyla? She flies a plane? She's clearly also a bug-type gym leader. No, I'm kidding. I know she's flying and I am very scared. Oh my God, yes! Finally, I need this so bad. Now Rockstar is a Crustal, and this extra power is going to be so helpful. And another much-needed power upgrade. Hacker is evolving too. Galvantula. And now my team is fully evolved, so that's cool. Oh my God, I just found an X-Scissor. Well, I just taught that to half my team. Little annoyed that Heracross can't learn it, but I'll live. We'll get Megahorn eventually. Alright, I finally made it. This will be the toughest team that I can get. My newly powerful Crustal and Galvantula will make this much easier to deal with. The first thing we do is set up Stealth Rocks. Acrobatics does not too bad. Rocks are up. Alright, we're getting the Rock Slide. Yes, it's an OCO. Let's go. Sending in Skarmory. Are going to switch here. We broke it sturdy with the Stealth Rock. I am faster. Okay. And that's enough. Let's go. It was a crit. Swanna. Alright, Hacker. You got this. Unnerve is active. I don't know if she has a Citrus Berry, but if she does, she ain't eating it. Electro Ball. I am faster. And we absolutely crush it! Oh, fantastic! I was terrified of this gym, but I've proven that my bugs are strong enough to sweep a flying gym leader. I made it through the long and grueling journey to La Canosa town, and now I'm learning about a mighty big hole. That's what she said. Oh, I just realized I wanted to go back and check something in another city, but none of my party members can learn fly. Oh, I didn't check after getting sold. Only Corona can learn fly. Oh, and I can't afford signal beam for Volcarona. This trip was quite messed up.
Anything still thinking this would be the easiest way to just get information assembled somewhere and then shot out to something else. And for us, that's extremely important because half of things remain distributed. It's been super efficient for us to moving it the cost concept.
I really enjoy getting those Coyotes. They donated a TK2610. It's a great fit for the kind of thing we do. Good deeds, dirty work. They can be small things that can make a really big difference with the right tools. That's what the Coyote Dirt Brigade can bring. Oh, come on. These guys are everywhere. You lost the first time. Why are you trying again? Why are you all redheads? Now, to light screen. I'm using special moves. My gosh, that cryogonal. He's dead. Wow, okay. Stop targeting me. Aha. All right, there we go. I want it done, actually. What? Oh. Hello?
I've been trying to contact you regarding your car's extended warranty for quite some time now.
I'm in Pollution City. And oh my god, the gym leader signed to look on 48. So, we're training. Alright, training done. Time to do this insane looking gym. Here I am, Drayton. While I don't have any super effective damage, I do have a steel type, which does resist dragon. Resist slash. Okay, one down. Fly gun. You know what? I think I'm gonna go into fashion for this. Because even though I don't resist dragon, I will resist ground, which is important. I'm gonna scout it with a protect. Knows rock slide. That sucks. I think I'm faster though, so I'm gonna sword stance. I think I'll live a rock slide. It's not a stab. It is not faster. That is unfortunate. I'm still on the green. Exactly 69 HP. Did I live the rock slide? I do live the rock slide! This is a double attack leaf blade! Oh, you're kidding! Wait, he definitely heals here, which means I can too. Okay, let's try again. Crit? Yes! I didn't even crit, I just got a better damage roll! Let's go! Way to go, Fazoon! I feel like there's no way I survive this, but I'm double attack and I don't want to just throw that away for X scissor. I'm faster! Oh, so close! Okay, if we live this hit, we win. Oh, it forces me out with Dragon Tail. Crustal's back in. Okay. I think Rock Slide's a bit weaker, but I could flinch it. I think Dragon Tail has reduced priority. Oh, no! Is this enough? No! I feel like I have to attack. Okay, do we live it? We do live it! Why did he go for assurance? Instead of a dragon move, it doesn't matter! We won! Let's go! Excuse me? What is that? Oh, God! So long, cruel world! Oh, God! Oh, it's just ice? Why didn't you just blow us all up? Oh, it's these nerds. Gosh, since you are a pain in my side. I thought we pushed them off, but the Shadow Triad is here. I just wanted to trade bugs, and now I'm dealing with an icy crisis. Humalao City. All right, after some training, it's finally time. Which I'm actually feeling like mostly good about because I've got an electric and a grass type. Although I will say he is first. That's fine. I'll just volt switch out of here, get some big damage, go into my Hero Pro switchies. Not that was a big hit. There's the rock. Yep, Brick Call. I'm gonna Brick Break. I feel like he's probably gonna heal. Yeah. Brick Break will KO. I think this thing has sturdy. It is a 2-hit KO, so we just Brick Break again. I am faster? Alright. And it's one down. Alright, Waylord, let's go back to Hacker. I feel like I'm probably a good chunk faster than you, so I'm gonna Electro Ball. I know I'm faster, but it's like how much faster? Okay, 2-hit KO. That's fine. I'm a special attacker, so if you burn me, it would stink, but it wouldn't be in the world. Alright, KOing the Waylord. We'll go ahead and stay in. Electro Ball. How much does it do? Oh, well, that sucks. There's the burn. That's fine. I don't think he heals here, so I'm going for Leaf Blade. He doesn't heal! Yes! And Fashion finishes yet another gym battle! And all 8 badges of Unova are mine! And here's the plasma boat! This bug catcher running around the big flying ship. Barriers, try not to die. Hello, Chorus. You have been working for Team Plasma? Man, I thought you were just a quirky researcher. I'm going to crush you. Break the magneton. Ooh, paralysis is annoying. You can activate my gut. Oh. Okay, I didn't die. I gotta heal. The guts is nice, but being slower is a problem. Magneton goes down. Alright, BM down. Easy Pokemon to deal with for a full bug team. Kling Clang. I don't think Kling Clang can have sturdy, so I'm gonna close combat. And the close combat hits, and is an Oko. Yes. Really gonna be nice once I have a better fire round. Oh, it didn't matter. A crit. Nice. Is this his last Pokemon? And with this Ember, Cool Rest is done. Who is this guy? A puppet you lost control of? Who are you? Freeze the region? Why? You'll kill so many bugs! Lord Getsis. Lord Getsis, you want to freeze my lovely bugs? As a bug catcher, I cannot allow this. I will stop you! There's Cura. I must free it from this monster man! Oh my god, he's gonna kill me! Oh, goodbye, cruel world! What? Oh! My life has been spared by a handsome man! Getsis, what is this? This doesn't look good! I just wanted to catch bugs and kick some booty, and now I'm staring down this thing? Oh man! How did I get myself into this mess? Please tell me you're still ice type. You are still ice type. Yes! Oh my gosh, beyond! Go beyond! Plus Ultra! Oh, now he's fighting me. And some help would be nice. Iron Head? Oh, we barely lived. Yeah, I have funny. Okay, I dealt with the Coppergurgus. Electros. Now I'm gonna stay. Got double attack. Might as well make use of it. Oh, that's a little rude. Are you kidding? And when the X scissor, it's less than. Get the rocks up, okay. Acrobatics, my god, this thing's coverage is welcome. Easy one after that. Electros. Will this be enough? It's only neutral. The burn! I tried it. Terrifying, but at least to bug. The rock slide misses! The silverwind hits! Yes! And I beat Getsis! I saved the bugs of the region from the icy grave! Oh, Anna, nice to meet you. Thank you for saving my life. It would have been nice if you helped with the whole Getsis thing. Whatever, you are very handsome. Now I guess to prove myself the strongest of all the trainers in this region, become not just the first bug catcher, but a bug catcher. Wait, what's happening? John, no! Why are you doing this? Of course you have your stupid bird. U-turn. Of course he brings in this Singapore. Jesus, that's how much Surf did? Hey, it's fine, I'm faster. My god! There's the M4. How the heck am I gonna beat this? There's the fire move. I KO'd my rock type. I can't burn it. I guess I'll fly. Oh, it knows rock slide. It knows rock slide. Oh, man. Close combat. Strongest move. Maybe it'll be enough? You're kidding. I should be faster. It's over. I can't beat this M4. Maybe this is why bug catchers never came to Cuba. It wasn't that we weren't allowed. It was that the Pokemon here are so powerful and can defeat even strong bugs with ease.